Jake, there's a lot of things we've done.
Broward County Sheriff Israel defending himself and his department's response to the Florida massacre as critics, including our next guest, call on him. Well, many critics are calling on him to step down. I don't think Pam Bondi is one of those.
74 lawmakers in Florida.
That's right. Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi joins us right now live with more. Good morning to you, Pam.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Has he provided amazing leadership?
No, of course not. And Governor Scott has called not for him to resign, but for a full investigation into the matter. And I firmly believe that needs to be accomplished. Florida Department of Law Enforcement will be investigating him. I know a lot more than you all do now. So all I'm going to say is, yes, I believe there needs to be a full investigation. I don't think some people were honest. And we're going to investigate this in Florida, and the right thing will be done.
Pam, was there a stand-down order?
I can't talk about that. But
that would explain why the guys didn't go inside.
Let me put it this way. When you have a school full of students and your duty is to protect those students, if I was there and I didn't have a firearm, I would have gone into that scene. That's what you do. That's what the coach did, who is a true hero. Your job is to protect those students.
Mm-hmm. I know in Texas.
That's what you sign up for.
I know in Texas, if a teacher's trained, they can carry a gun. Mm-hmm. Do you think Florida's going to go that direction, knowing, and for example, that coach has a gun and, according to reports, was trained to use that gun? He wasn't allowed to bring it to school, so he had to use his body, and he ends up dead.
That's right.
So are you in Florida, are they open to what the president's proposed, and that is letting trained teachers, select teachers, carry a gun?
You know, I think it's the way that it's been presented that every teacher is going to be handed a gun when they walk in the door. My whole family were teachers, and I wouldn't want them to carry a gun, nor would they. I think it would have to be very highly trained teachers, former military, former police. We have plenty of them in our schools, and people who have just an expert shooting ability and skills. It takes a lot of skills, and we have air marshals on planes. And we have to protect our kids in our schools. So it's got to be the way it's done. It's not arming every teacher.
Pam,
only certain people who can protect our kids.
Pam, it was reported that school resource officer, Scott Peterson, was there. He was the only officer. That's what we learned last week and the week before. And now there are reports that there were 3 other deputies there on the property. Was there more than one officer there?
That's what we're hearing, and I can tell you, I believe some folks in that department weren't honest with me, nor were they honest with the governor, nor were they say there's going to be a full investigation into what really went on. Right now, what I'm focused on, Ainsley, is working with these students and going forward.
I didn't know they weren't honest with you, Pam. What do you mean they weren't honest with you?
They weren't. It's all going to come out in the investigation.
That's what you're talking about from the very beginning. There are things you can't.
Why would they lie, though? Why wouldn't they be honest?
Well, if they were there and didn't want people to know they were there, that could have been it. But I'm not going to discuss that further.
Right?
Okay, so Pam, you mentioned that you're trying to work with students. You're trying to come up with an app, right?
We have, actually. So my counterpart, Cynthia Kaufman in Colorado, General Kaufman, and General Schutte in Michigan, they both have these safety apps, and they've been great mentors to me.